What's good, y'all? So just got done watching Khalil Rountree versus Jamahal Hill in UFC Baku, Azerbaijan. That was a pretty cool event. I think Azerbaijan is a pretty cool place. It seemed like another really promising location that the UFC can go back to. The crowd was lit. Crowd was on fire when there was a Russian or Azerbaijani fighter. When the main event happened and Khalil Rountree and Jamahal Hill were standing there, you would have thought we were in the apex. There was not one Jamahal Hill or Khalil Rountree fan in that building. But that whole building, there was a moment when Nazim Sadikov just landed a random counter hook and the crowd went crazy. So the crowd actually knows ball. The crowd was reacting to like little details, little striking details, little wrestling details. I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, man, let's get into this main event. We had an actual champion versus someone who he beats people like they owe him money. He beats people like Batman. But also, I mean, we had a guy who looked like a McDonald's line cook versus a guy who looked like he plays in the NFL. This fight really made me wonder, like, how did Jamahal Hill become a champion? Like, the one thing when I was thinking about this fight was Jamahal Hill has championship experience. He's been in there against Yuri, Glover, Alex Pereira. He's been in there against top competition, and he's won a few of those fights. Meanwhile, the thing that Khalil Rountree had, and everyone was pretty much saying this, is technical superiority on the feet. He is a better striker. But Jamahal Hill just has a better resume, and he wins fights at a higher level. But higher level, I don't know if we can just count that as a stat. And even if it is a stat, Khalil Rountree, he was able to get that championship level experience in his last fight, and it looks like he's leveled up a lot since that last fight. This is not the same Khalil Rountree that robbed Dustin Jacoby. So yeah, starting out in this fight, did y'all notice they didn't touch hands? Like they had some beef or something? And then Khalil Rountree, he just stood there like Michael Myers in the beginning of the fight. And round one was so lethargic. The whole fight was kind of lethargic, and then there was booms and surges of activity. That kind of makes me annoyed, you know? It's when fighters don't know anything about each other, they'll just go out there and put on one of the greatest fights you've ever seen, which we had one of those fights in this Baku card. But then these guys, they don't like each other, and then they go out there and they're standing around mean mugging each other. Guys, come on, fight, come on. So Khalil Rountree, I think he definitely won this fight by destroying Jamal's leg. Round two, Jamahal Hill could barely move. He was falling over, he was stumbling, it was swollen. Round three, I think round two, Khalil Rountree had his knockdowns. Wow, for some reason they only counted one knockdown. Khalil Rountree had like 4 knockdowns in this fight. He was beating him like he's Batman. Khalil Rountree won 45-50. 45-50. Jamahal Hill was over here talking about, oh, there's no way that he beats me. You lost 45-50, bro. You lost 5 rounds to 0. You're a former champion. You lost 5 rounds to 0.
You're a victim.
I think, man, Khalil Rountree, he just outworked him. He just worked harder. He showed up. He was a little more aggressive. He has cleaner striking. He's not overly prideful about his abilities. And I think that paid off. Now we got a top 5 Khalil Rountree. I think that makes some exciting fights that we haven't seen. We don't have to watch the same old rematches in the top 5. I think that's pretty exciting. Happy for Khalil Rountree. Also happy I did not make an official video saying Jamahal Hill was going to win, because y'all would be cooking me right now if I did. Next fight, we had Rafael Fiziev versus Ignacio Bahamondes. Another fight where the crowd was just nuts. You literally would have thought that we were in the apex when Jamal and Khalil were fighting. When Rafael and Ignacio Bahamondes were fighting, it sounded like a World Cup in there. But this was a good fight. It was a good, close fight. Ignacio Bahamondes really using his reach advantage and his height advantage to his advantage. Sorry for repeating myself, but Rafael Fiziev, just a more skilled fighter all around, more experienced fighter all around. I don't think this is the end for Ignacio Bahamondes. It stinks to see his win streak kind of end right here, but I think he still has some exciting fights ahead of him. And one thing I do have to say about Rafael Fiziev, and I've said this before, he fights to the level of the guy he's fighting. Like, when he's fighting Gaethje, he's as good as Gaethje. When he's fighting Bobby Green, he's as good as Bobby Green. When he's fighting Ignacio Bahamondes, he's as good as Bahamondes. Like, he doesn't really impose his will more than he has to. And I feel like if he just did, he would win these fights a little more dominantly. But nevertheless, good fight. Curtis Blaydes versus Rizvan Kuniev. Man, I think we have overrated Blaydes' takedown ability. This is a top PFL guy, and he was dinging up our top 5 UFC fighter. First of all, I think that this was a robbery. I think Rizvan won. You look at Curtis's face, I think Rizvan won. Just shooting takedowns and not completing just shooting them and sticking on them. That doesn't win you a fight. I was really impressed with Rizvan Kuniev. We know he's a top PFL guy. This is the guy who beat the guy who lost to Francis Ngannou. So he's the one he beat Renan Ferreira. He beat him on steroids, but he did beat him. And so Blaydes, he got a takedown in round 1, which is like his first takedown in years, supposedly. But then the rest of the takedowns, he missed all of them. His game was completely shut down after that. He stopped running with the takedowns. Bro, this is why I say, like, his wrestling ability is overrated. I really think it is. Because he gets that first takedown, and it was because he ran with his feet. This guy is 265 pounds. What is he, 6'4"? You think you're going to just shoot a takedown and just by you knocking into him, thumping into him, he's going to fall over? Bro, no. He's 260 and he's rushing. You got to run your feet, Curtis. And if you get stuck on a single leg, you got to run the pipe or you got to switch angles or just go behind. Pretty much do nothing. Curtis Blaydes won this. I don't think oh, wow. I mean, he outstruck him somehow. I don't know, bro. It's so random how some PFL people, they do well. Like Kayla Harrison, this guy is doing well. But then there's some Bellator people, all-time great Bellator guys will come in the UFC and just be the most mid fighter you've ever seen. Patricio Pitbull, Michael Chandler, Patchy Mix. I don't know, bro. I don't know what the method is. We're going to see how Aaron Pico does. But judging by the way these guys are going, I doubt Aaron Pico looks good at all. I think Kuniev got robbed in this fight. Curtis Blaydes, good for you. I mean, whatever. Whatever. Next fight. Dude, Miktabek Orolbai is 27 years old. Did y'all know that? Miktabek Orolbai is younger than me. He looks like he's 10,000 years old. He's 27, bro. He's Gen Z.
You're not getting it. It's not clocking to you.
Miktabek Orolbai is freaking Gen Z.
It's not clocking to you that I'm standing on business, is it?
Anyways, he fights like Khamzat Chimaev. He has that reckless abandon, super aggressive wrestling. It reminded me of Chimaev versus Li Jingliang in this fight when he picked him up and walked around the ring. The finishing sequence, he caught his kick and then he got a Kimura lock. Put on a great performance. This was freaking fired. I'm excited to see more of the caveman. I'm excited to see more of what the Land Before Time has to offer. Next fight, Nazim Sadikov versus Nicholas Mota. This was the fight of the year. This was the fight of the year. If there's any competition for fight of the year, it's this, JDM versus Bilal, and I'm forgetting the third one. Maybe Lopez versus Alex Volkanovski. But this is better than all those fights. This fight was crazy. Nicholas he had him against the fence and he was teeing off on him, literally threw 75 strikes. Nazim Sadikov, he was standing there blocking every single one of them. I was looking at the referee. I was like, you better not you better not stop this fight. And thank God that referee did not stop the fight because the action just kept going. Nazim had his own flurry. Nicholas Mota was blocking those. I think round 2, Nazim hit Nicholas with an elbow to the forehead, started bleeding out his forehead profusely. Y'all like that big word, profusely? Definitely became a fan of both of these guys from this fight. They were basically in a phone booth the whole entire fight until Muslim Sadikov. Why do I keep trying to call him Muslim Sadikov? I mean, he was screaming Allah Akbar, so he is a Muslim Sadikov. But Nazim Sadikov, he had that finishing sequence. It was just crazy. It was like a Ilia Topuria type finish against the fence. Awesome fight. I can't wait till they put this fight on YouTube because this is a fight that I'm going to come back to. If I'm having a bad day, I'm just going to turn the Nazim versus Nicholas Mota fight. If there's a boring fight and a fight night, if I'm over here stuck watching an Apex jobber war, I'm just going to turn on Nazim Sadikov versus Nicholas Mota, bro. When I'm waiting in line, I'm getting my tires fixed tomorrow, I'm going to rewatch this fight. This was one of the best fights I've seen. And these two guys, I've never watched either of them. I think I've seen Nazim Sadikov fight before. Nicholas Mota, I think I saw him on Contender Series. Such a good fight. Definitely a fan of both of these guys now. I hope this doesn't, there's no way that this hurts Nicholas Motta's career. I'm sure he's going to come back. They're going to give him a sick, sick fight next. Next, we had Muhammad Naimov versus Bogdan Grad. This was another, I think he's another Azerbaijani or Muslim. He's Tajikistan.
You stupid.
He's neither Muslim, Russian, or Azerbaijani. He's Tajiki. So big L for Flying Squirrel. But this was a good fight. I mean, a lot of these fights, when we go down here, they were all decision. But it was action in all these fights, which I really appreciated. It was, you go to the Middle East, you're afraid that, oh gosh, it's going to be a bunch of crotch sniffers. It was not crotch sniffers. These guys were fighting like their life depended on it. And I really appreciated it. This whole event was pretty cool. I think it was just awkward matchmaking to have the main event be two guys that the region gives absolutely no craps about. Like, you could hear a skinny girl fart in this arena. It was so quiet in that arena when they were announcing Hill and Rountree. But I enjoyed watching it. This is Flying Squirrel. Let me know what you guys thought about the event. Peace.